All right, class, we are doing the second part of 10.2 today. So turn your books to page 558. That's where I'm going to be talking through how to do everything. So 558 is, let's see here, it's looks like this. We're going to be doing this quick check after we get through these steps on how to do graphing when it's in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Yesterday we did finding the vertex, and the vertex, the x value of the vertex is also the axis of symmetry. So we're still going to be using the negative b over 2a. These are the steps we have to follow. All right, so when we graph any type of line, we are going to find the value of x using negative b over 2a. Once we do that, after you find your x value, you use that x value to find your y. That will give you your vertex. Then after you find your vertex, you create your xy chart like we've done before. You pick a couple values to x, and one to the left, one to the right of your axis of symmetry. You'll see what I mean when we get into the example. And then so one to the left, one to the right of your vertex. You plot those points on your graph, and then you draw your U-shaped parabola. So let's go ahead and look at quick check 1 on page 558. So write this down in your notes. Again, page 558 in your book, quick check 1. So it says graph f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 9. And feel free to pause the recording as we go to get caught up. Just fix that. Okay, so the first step, again, reference your notes as you're going through these. Should be what we did yesterday. So we are going to find the value of x using negative b over 2a. So we first have to identify our a and our b. If we look at this, our a is right here. You don't see anything there, so we know that that's a 1. And our b will be negative 6. So we take that into our equation. X equals negative 6 over 2 times our a, which is 1. And we solve for that. So negative 6 is a positive 6 divided by 2. And 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So our x value of the vertex is 3. So now we have to figure out our y value of the vertex. So we take this 3 for that x, and we put it in for our x's here. So I'm going to type into my calculator, parentheses, 3 squared minus 6, parentheses 3 plus 9. Pause here, take a moment to do that. Alright, so when we type that into our calculator, we get 0. So 0 is our value for the y. So now we have 3 comma 0, which is our vertex. So I'm going to draw my graph, and I'm going to plot 3 comma 0. So at 3 and 0 on the y, it's right here. Alright, so looking at our notes, what did we do? We found the value of x using negative b over 2a. We use that to find the y. So we did that. Alright, so we're plotting our vertex. That's the key point. So now on to step 2. It says create a chart to find 2 other points on the graph. So pick 1 point to the left and 1 point to the right. So 1 point greater than our x value of the vertex and 1 point less than our x value of the vertex. Then we're going to plot those points. So here's how we do that. Get here? Okay. So my vertex, my x value of my vertex is 3. Now typically what I like to do is I like to just go 1 to the left or 1 to the right. Although 0 is to the left, our x value of 0, and that's always an easy one to do. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do my chart, x and my y. Move that up a little bit. And I'm going to pick 0 as one of my points to the left, and then I need to pick a point to the right, so I'm just going to go up 1 from 3, and I'm going to pick 4. So these are my 2 points that I'm going to pick. 0 is always a good number to pick because the math is pretty easy to do. Alright, so now we have to go back and use our original, I forgot to put that, we're going to use our original formula, and we're going to put these numbers in and get our output. So if I put 0 for x, so 0 squared minus 6 times 0 plus 9. When I do this, this is 0 plus 9, so my answer is 9. That's why 0 is so nice to use, because this is going to be 0, this is going to be 0, so you're basically just left with C. Whatever 0 is, that's your C. And now I'm going to put 4, so I can actually plot this. 0, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I put a dot there. So I have 1 to the left, and we know it's a U-shaped graph, and this is positive, right? So it's going to be going up like this. So half of my graph is going to look like this. All right, so now I have the other half, but I want to put a point right over here. Now, if you want to use your axis of symmetry, we go 1, 2 away from that. So 1, it's actually 1, 2, 3 spots. So 1, 2, 3. We can do that if we understand our axis of symmetry. And we can draw a line through there. But I want to show you how we could pick any number and just draw a line through. So I have 4 is 1 to the right of my original x value. So I'm going to put 4 in for all of these problems. So I have 4 squared minus 6 parentheses 4 plus 9. And you're going to type that into your calculator. So go ahead and take the time to type that into your calculator and see what you get. I'm going to pause. You guys pause the video. Okay, so you should have typed that into your calculator, and when you hit enter, you should have gotten 1. So we have 4, 1, which is right here. So then we draw our line through that dot as well. So if you don't use the axis of symmetry, pick 1 to the right. Doesn't matter that this one's here and this one's here, just as long as your U-shaped graph is going through those points. And that's how you would do the problems. Let's do one more just for practice. So flip your notes over on the back. Oops, wrong page. We're going to go to a blank page here, and we're going to write down this problem. So we're actually going to do problem 13 from the book. So look at problem 13 on page 560, and that is y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 4. So y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 4. All right, so the first thing we have to do is find the axis of symmetry, which is the vertex, the x value of the vertex. So we do that by identifying our a and our b. So a is, in this case, negative 1, and our b is positive 4. So x equals negative 4 over 2 times negative 1. Remember, that's our negative b over 2a that we have memorized. All right, so I go ahead and I do the math here. Negative 4 over negative 2, which equals 2. So my x value of my vertex is 2. Now I have to figure out what my y is. So for the y, I put my 2 into my x's to get this y. So I have negative, parentheses 2 squared, plus 4, parentheses 2, minus 4. All right, so you take the time. Remember, try to put everything that you input into parentheses. It will help when you type in the numbers into your calculator. So I'm actually doing that right now. I'm typing in the negative, parentheses 2 squared, plus 4, parentheses 2, minus 4, and it comes out to equal 0. So check your calculators, pause it if you need to. Make sure you're doing that math correctly. So 2, 0 is our vertex. So make sure we know how to find that. So I'm going to draw my graph. If you have graph paper, you can use that as well. I'm going to put my vertex at 2 on the x, 0 on the y. So that is right there. Okay. I'll use a different color so you can see it. All right, now I have to figure out two other points on the graph. One point to the left, one point to the right of this x value. So I can use 1, I can use 0, I can use -1. Anything to the left, I could use 3, I could use 4, I could use 5. It does not matter. Pick one to the right, one to the left. So you do your t-chart, so x, y. We're going to substitute it in. The easiest one to the left, in my opinion, would be to use 0. So if you use 0, all right, and we plug it in to this, remember, -4 should come out to be our answer. So if I have y equals negative, parentheses 0 squared plus 4, parentheses 0 minus 4, and I type that in, again, your answer is going to be -4. So you can plot that down here. So when x is 0, y is -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a dot there. And look at the way the shape of the graph is going, right? It's opening down. We should have recognized that because of that negative right there. All right, now we have to do one point to the right, so I might pick 3. So if I do 3, and I'm going to erase this, I'm just going to rewrite that in there, but with a 3. So I would say negative, parentheses, 3, parentheses, square, plus 4, parentheses, 3, minus 4. Remember, I'm using this formula again, or that original problem. And you can type that into your calculator exactly as it looks. So negative, parentheses, 3, parentheses, square, plus 4, parentheses 3, parentheses, minus 4. That's going to come out to equal -1. So pause it here if you need to. Double check, make sure you got that. So if I go 3, -1, 3 on my x, -1 is right here. And you just draw your U-shaped graph through those points. All right, so when I'm checking these, I'm looking for your vertex, and I'm looking for a point to the left, point to the right, that the graph's going in the general direction. If for whatever reason your output comes out up here, you know you did some math wrong because you know it's supposed to open down. All right. If you understand the symmetry rule, so 1, 2 away, 1, 2 away, you know you would be right here at -4 as well. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. If you put in 4 for x and you do the math, because of the axis of symmetry, your answer should come out to -4. All right. Check the assignment on the board. I put it in the subplans. Rewatch this if you need to. There's a few more problems that you have to practice as a class. Again, take your time and good luck.